Morning, Mark.
Good morning. Hello, Ian. How are you?
I'm really good, mate. Really good, and really nice to connect like this. Although we did meet for a coffee face to face a few days ago, which was lovely.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's great to connect and talk about me, you, and EXP, um, which is basically the point of the videos to share our experience with people that we know in the industry that might
Yeah.
be interested. Very quickly, Mark, do you want to introduce yourself and just tell people about your
Yeah,
time in the business?
sure. I'm sure a lot of people know me, or getting to know me, especially over the last year, because I've been so active on social media in promoting my business. But I'm Mark Stern. I became an estate agent when I left school at the age of 16 in 1979. I've been on and off an agent ever since, except for the sort of spate of 8 years when I lived in America, in Florida. But I see that as agency, even though I wasn't an agent then, because it taught me a service that you can never beat American service. But yeah, so and I've worked my way up the ladder as an estate agent with corporates, with some very good, well-respected smaller companies as well, in central London and in North London, northwest London, and in Watford. And we met when I was in Connells.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to say that was a nice connection. I was the recruitment director for Connells, as some people might know, nationally. I was actually living in Bushy for a while and used your Bushy office as a convenient place to work quite often. And so we got to know each other very well through that time. And, it was an amazing experience. I think what's interesting, Mark, is, we do go back a long way. I know I started work in 1979, although I'm sure people will agree I do look like a much younger brother.
Yes,
of you
absolutely.
at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
But no, we go back a long way, lots of experience, and we've got lots of mutual contacts. One of the things I wanted to share with people, and especially managers and senior negs in the business, because EXP isn't for everyone, doesn't work for everyone, but I've been involved with it since day one. So I'm agent 002 behind Adam. And so I've seen everything develop. I've seen people come and go. I've seen a lot of people be very successful. It's given me an opportunity to actually analyze what makes success, what makes who can make it work, and what it does. And one thing that I found is people that have got a good solid estate agency experience, that have managed an office. I mean, you managed an office, you had 4 or 5 staff, you opened the office at 9 o'clock, you closed it at 6 o'clock, and then you just went home. And you earned, I'm sure, good wages, good basic salary, lots of security. Everything was there for you, including possibly a career if you wanted to just keep going up the food chain and hopefully progress into different positions. Lots of people don't. And what does motivate people, I feel, is doing what they love, but also doing it for themselves. And doing it because in every branch there is a successful person. There's a go-to person that the public love to deal with, and that person is a unique person. It's their name. And I think one of the things that I got from working with you in Connells was you were a great manager, extremely personable. You just were doing it for someone else. You were just selling someone else's brand, and you were behind the brand. I wanted to just ask you, really, when you compare that security, if you like, of being in a corporate company or an independent where you've got everything there for you, and the experience of EXP, how does that compare? We met just over a year ago and talked about EXP, and it was a big leap of faith from your point of view to go it alone and trust your name and confidence. But just give me an idea on how that worked for you, but also how you compare the comfort, if you like, that security, if you like, of being an employee to being Mark Stern EXP right now.
Right. Okay. Well, it's funny enough. It's when you make a decision to start up on your own, it is generally either a couple of things are happening. It's either happening because you feel that you need to further your career and you've reached the top working for somebody else, because I sell this as furthering my career.
Yeah.
It's either that you are so fed up for different reasons. It could be financial, it could be your line management, it could be the company ethos, And there's so many factors that make you wake up in the morning with either a big smile on your face saying, I'm going to play, because actually work can be play, or
Definitely.
I'm going to a hellhole. And if you go through a period of time where you think I'm going to a hellhole, and it depends how strong you are as a person and how much you're willing to put up with. And just like any relationship in life, work is no different. Okay. How long are you prepared to put up with the same old, same old, same old? And remember, the longer you're with a company, yes, you go through these peaks and troughs, and it's how the troughs are handled. And it becomes a very insincere environment, I feel, whoever you work for, because you're only as good as your last month's figures.
Yeah.
And you're only as good as how you're performing. Now, one of the things that I didn't know how much I missed as a branch manager, so I love being a branch manager, but what it was that you've got a passion, you know how to do it. The reason why you're a senior neg branch manager is because you've been there, you've done it, you've shown them that you can do it and you can perform. And you now need to stand there and run the helm and have your negs doing that for you. So you've got to be a good delegator. Now, I have to say, I was never a great delegator. I always felt I could do it better than anybody. Okay. And that's one of the things I love about doing this. Okay. Yeah. I don't have to delegate to anybody. I can just do it.
Yeah.
You also are disconnected from your customer, because the negs are with the customer. They're the ones doing the viewings most of the time. You're doing the valuations, which is great. But if, some of the branches, when I was running bigger branches, I wasn't even doing valuations hardly. I had a valuer doing the valuation. So what you end up doing is you're just a people person. You're just dealing with your own you're not even an estate agent. You could be managing a shop doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how frustrated that was making me feel inside. And when I launched and came out and did everything, because I used to even think, when I was running a branch, how much does a branch manager hate it if a neg can't do a viewing on a little property? And they think, oh, I've got to go and do this viewing. Oh, no. But you don't feel like that when you're on your own. I love showing every single property, because every opportunity, it's a chance for me to talk to people, to show people what I do. So I saw this as a promotion, as the biggest promotion you could ever have. I don't care if I was working as an area manager for a big company. This is a promotion from that. And if you don't see that, then you haven't, it's because you haven't experienced it and you're not living it. Maybe you're living in a bit of fear yourself. Yeah. So the reason why this is a promotion for me is because it's mine. And it's 100% mine. And, you said something about this EXP model is not for everybody. It's actually not the EXP model that's not for everybody. It actually is the self-employed model is not for everybody. Because out of all the self-employed models, and I can tell you this, EXP is the cream of the crop, because there's so many things that are incredible about it that we're not even going to talk about in this. And I don't really need to go into it, because many people out there have seen so many of us doing these EXP videos that they're going to know loads of little elements. But that is why I do this, and you can feel the passion as I talk. It's literally,
yeah. I mean, Mark, it's really interesting, because I've just made a note. Delegate. I remember going from a senior neg in the 80s to opening a branch in the mid 80s. I was very young, only about 21, 22. In those days, that was quite young to open a branch. And I had a team of about 7, 8 people in a big office. And then I became an area manager, which is all I ever wanted. I had 7 offices, I had 40 staff, but I spent my life in the car, driving between offices. I became a motivator, a delegator. I stopped valuing houses. Yes, I went out with my staff. I stopped being an estate agent at that moment. And that's something I hadn't really thought about. I then set up the recruitment company, which I owned for 20 years. And I did exactly the same. I was a recruiter for the first 3 or 4 years. And then I took people on and they recruited for me. And all I did was manage it. And to be fair, I actually became, at the end of that particular period, I became almost a bookkeeper. I was just counting the profits, which was lovely, but quite unfulfilling in the end. And I think that's really interesting. I've never heard that before. Someone say it was like a promotion. the best promotion I've ever had, to actually go out on my own and go back to doing what I love doing, which is talking to vendors, changing people's lives, handing the keys over, all the things that you do until you become a manager of an office, and then you stop because you get other people to do it. If you don't like delegating, it's very frustrating because no one will ever value a house as good as you. Correct. No one will ever run the sale and deal with the solicitors as good as you. And you spend the next maybe 20, 30 years of your working life feeling like that, instead of just going back to what you love. So it's like a footballer becoming a manager. You know, some people just love playing football. They don't want to manage anyone else and talk about football. They just want to play football. Some people want to be pundits. And that's exactly the same in our industry. People have got so many choices. But my feeling is there's hundreds, maybe thousands of managers out there, similar to what you were and I was in the 80s, where they literally just feel that they're just bookkeeping. They're opening the door, they're hitting targets, and that is it.
It's a title. That's all it becomes. It's a title. All these things are used to be the same. You said about how you were so excited, but you became an area manager, and it's just, they're just titles. They don't really. They're titles and their salary. That's what they are. Titles, salary, kudos. But in essence, is it enjoyment or is it just titles, salary, kudos? Because I'll tell you something, with this, it's not titles, but actually it's pride, because I'm a director of my own business. Salary, yes, salary is amazing, better than I was ever earning before. People, you have a fear, I'm not going to earn for a couple of months. It's like, so you know what, you'll get yourself in that position. Once you get through those few months, it doesn't happen again. All right. And kudos, what is it? Kudos is that I have my own business. I don't care that I don't have 4 or 5 people working for me, looking up at me every morning and thinking, oh, he's the branch manager, he's the area manager. It's a load of rubbish. I actually have the peace of mind for exactly that reason, that I'm sitting here in this bedroom. Normally I have my Zoom backdrop, but I think here, look, this is where I work from. It's the bedroom, it's the spare room in my house. And this is my office. I'm looking out into lovely fields over the garden here. I've got my cat next to me, who actually attacked me this morning quite badly while I was on the phone to a solicitor, and I couldn't scream. And it's like, this is real. This is my life.
And also, if you're a good agent, you're gonna make an impact in your local market very, very quickly, which is what we see at least 30-40% of the XPA agents do very quickly. They're well known in their area. They're great at their job. People don't even know. Sometimes they'll know the person, but they won't even know what company they work for. They'll see him in the high street and say hello to them, and they'll go, "Oh, that's the estate agent guy." They won't know whether it's ABC or XYZ that person works for. It's that person, and they're the people we want to be talking to.
Okay, so well, listen, this is our first chat, our first chat on here anyway, because Ian and I chat all the time. Hope you've enjoyed it. You've got something out of it. There's going to be many more to follow. So I'm just going to say thanks for listening, and thank you very much from me.
And thank you from me.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Cheers, Mark.